little more information about becoming a midwife. So I became a doula in 2007. Most doulas do a 4-day training and off they go. Not me. I was trained over 6 weeks, and then I apprenticed with a master doula and a midwife for like the next 3 years. And I tell people all the time I was trained more like a midwife than I was a doula. And I'll get into that a whole other time. However, that's one of the ways people will often get into the midwifery field. Midwifery as a practice is as old as human beings giving birth to other human beings. All right. And I'm going to slow down and just specifically talk about out of hospital midwives, which is what I am. So I live in the state of California, and here, in order to practice midwifery legally, you have to be licensed. So practicing midwifery here means that you are taking clients and you're working with them, things like that. So, and in order to do that, I ended up applying to a MEEC accredited school. So I believe MEEC stands for Midwifery Education Accreditation Council, I believe. And I chose a school that best fit me and also would allow me to get a license. And at that school, at that time, you had to start with the Heart and Hands by Elizabeth Davis class. You passed that, and then there were modules. So there were 52 assignments, basically. So each module was on a specific midwifery topic. So biology, pharmacology, packing your bag. And each one would have like 100 some odd questions that you would need to answer and then have someone go over them. Once you get through that part, or while you're getting through that part, you have your apprenticeship. So you find another licensed midwife, and I suggest you make sure that they do have their credentials, make sure that they are signed up with your school as well as with NARM, because without those two things, your numbers won't count. And then there's a list, and each school, each state kind of has their own, and California has their own, the number of births you need to attend, the number of catches, the number of prenatals and newborn exams, things like that. There's a certain number of those that you need to hit. Once you do all of that and it's all approved, then you can take the exit exam. Once you pass the exit exam, then you can take the NARM. And I believe NARM, oh my goodness, Registered Midwifery, National Accreditation for Registered Midwifery. I can't quite remember, but NARM is the exam that out of hospital midwives who are seeking credentialing must pass with a 75% or better. It's 300 questions. You are given 6 hours to do it. And currently their pass rate is somewhere around 64 to 68%, with the vast majority of people who aren't passing the exam being marginalized, specifically Black folks, which I can get into in another video of why we don't have more Black and brown midwives. So you do all of that. And you've got to pay for it. Midwifery school is going to cost you anywhere from about $7,000 to $30,000 just for tuition. You've got to buy books. You've got to buy equipment. Wherever your licensed midwife that you're going to work under, you need to live by them. So you may have to relocate. And most preceptors, that's going to be the licensed midwife you're working under, will not be paying you, and some will ask for you to pay them. So you want to be prepared for those things. And then there's just your everyday life, right? And especially if you have children, childcare, things like that. Okay. So you get through all of that. Then in the state of California, you send all of that to the medical board. They look it over, they check the boxes, and you're given your license and off you go. And you only need to renew, I think, every 2 to 3 years. And I think the license is like around $500. Oh, the NARM is like $1,200 the first time you take it, and $600 every time you take it after that. So, and then you want to make sure that while you're practicing as a midwife, that you keep up on the laws in your state that govern what you can and cannot do. So for instance, in California, out of hospital midwives, we can place IVs, we can draw blood, but there are many states, I believe Virginia being one of them, you can't do that, okay? So you want to also be careful and make sure that you're practicing within your scope of practice, because you could go to jail practicing midwifery if you go outside your scope of practice, or if you're considered to be practicing without a license. So some of the ways that people get around that is if you're not credentialed, for instance, let's say you didn't pass the NARM and now you've got to keep practicing, folks will often connect themselves to an already licensed midwife and work under that license until they're able to get their own. And some just thug it out, right? And just practice underground. But that gives you some more of a sense of what it takes to become an out of hospital midwife.